Okay guys, here we go again. You can see I've got the cylinders all mounted up. Con rods are bolted onto the crankshaft. The slides have been reset. There is now about 4 thou of clearance at one end when there's no tension on, or 4 thou either end when there's no tension on, which I guess gives 8 thou overall. The eccentrics are tightened up. I haven't connected the cross shaft at either end, and obviously the valve gear is not on, but with it like this it turns quite nicely. Just to make sure everything was fine and it would do this continuously, I actually connected it up to a drill and I ran that for about 5 minutes on sort of medium speed, and it runs very nicely at that. So the next step, I guess, is to connect the cross arms, these ones, try again, and if that works okay, then I'll put the valve gear back on one side at a time and see how it goes. I must be honest, I don't hold too many hopes out, but onwards and upwards, I guess. Cheers guys. Okay, I've connected the cross links now, both ends. There we go, over there and there, these links here. And the engine turns pretty well. It's nice and smooth in that direction. Nice and smooth in that direction. So it goes a bit tight there when I've got the, but that overcomes that, so that's okay. I might spin this on the drill for a little while actually now, before I put the valve gear on still. We'll see. In case anybody's interested, this is what I'm doing with the drill. The idea is just to try and bed everything a little bit better before I start to go to fit the valves. So that's the next step. Okay, that back end valve's now on, and I've set the timing of it so that it's running as near as I can make it, equidistance up and down. You can see it here. And the engine turning over quite nice and freely. There's nothing binding anywhere in there. So, on to the next end. Before I get into the next end of the engine, I just thought I might mention two things. Whenever I'm building any sort of engine, be it a tiny complicated thing like this or even something bigger, I always work on one of these trays. It's a baking tray. Dirt cheap, dollar shop thing. And it means that for most cases, if you drop something, it drops within the tray and you hear it drop and you can find it. Occasionally I lose things. I've lost a little tiny nut somewhere on this silly carpet, but that's another story. The second thing is this small mill vise. Again, it's El Cheapo thing, but it's very versatile. You can use it one-handed, and it allows you to mount the engine in pretty well any position that you want to get at any of the bits, and it's a nice solid base. So that's just a little bit of food for thought. But now I'm going to start on this bit and see how we get on. I'll just mention one other thing, and that is this compartmented box. When I bought this TVR engine, I purchased this box because it had enough compartments for me to separate all these tiny screws into it. And if you look at the sizes involved, you can see 3/16, quarter, 5/16, 7/16, 3/16, eighth, and 0-80 by 1/8 screws and also nuts to go with that screw. This enables me to keep everything reasonably neat and tidy and to pick straight out of the box without having to ferret around in all the little plastic bags. So there you go, that's tip number 3 for the day. So there we go, both valve sets are on now, all coupled up, and the engine turns over. It doesn't spin, but with all the bits and bobs hanging off the crankshaft, I'm not surprised really, I suppose. Let's just hope it turns over when we get some air pressure on it. So next job, get the cylinder heads on, the valve covers, and the inlet pipes. I'm not going to worry about the exhaust for the minute. And then we'll see what happens. That should be in another half an hour, I guess, guys. Okay, all together, everything bolted on as should be, and lever at the bottom, and the engine turns over quite smoothly. Forwards, backwards, makes no difference. Up to the top, forward rotation, everything's fine. Until you put the air on. Now the engine locks absolutely solid. If I move this reverse and forward lever, you'll see that the crankshaft actually turns. But no way can I get it to turn over. Now I suspect I've got something blocked, or I don't know, but there's something not quite right there. Could this be valve timing? Maybe. Could it be the position of the slides? I really don't know at this moment, so over to you guys. Any suggestions that you've got, I'd be really, really grateful for. Thanks for watching.